Hey guys, welcome to a brand new mixing tutorial. Let's check out how I mixed this cover of Electric Twilight by ERRA. It is such a pretty song. It's the song that immediately caught my ear off of the new ERRA album, which is awesome and you should check out. I assume you have checked out if you're here. I'll explain the Master Bus plugins at the end. So, drums. I've been using the same drum sound for most of the ERRA covers, so if you've been following along, you can guess this is my sound with Get Good Drums Invasion. I have the full rundown of this drum sound in a previous mixing tutorial, which is the Thornhill Nurture mixing tutorial. So you just go to the Patreon page, search bar, you type in Thornhill Nurture, and that is the mixing tutorial where I describe this drum sound. It's all Get Good Drums Invasion, and there's a very, very special trick on it where I grab the stock recording custom brass snare and I tune it down a little bit on the pitch control. So I get a whole new sound out of Invasion, and it doesn't become very, very recognizable like a lot of people use the GGD, and you could tell it's GGD. Yeah, the processing is also very cool, so you can go check that out in that mixing tutorial. I know a lot of you have already watched it, so I don't have to repeat myself on this one. Let's talk bass. So program bass, F sharp, too low for my boy. So this is a very lazy tone, brought to you by Gin Bass by Submission Audio. We just start with the default tone. Default distorted tone is pretty cool, but for my taste, it's super, super bright. So I turned down the tone all the way, and now it's all about fattening it up. Our bass is the first layer, and this is adding some sub lows. So hopefully you can tell the before and after. You really add a lot of meat to those lower notes, centered at around 75 Hertz. And then the main bass processing I've been doing with Cornef AIP, which stands for Amplified Instrument Processor. This is just an all-in-one box, and let's listen to what I'm doing with it. I'm really flipping the bass tone on its head and turning it into a huge, huge titan. So a new move that I haven't done is just a little 1.5 dB boost at 100 Hertz. It's just extra low end, which you do want. And then filtering out the subs beneath 50 Hertz and the high end above 6K. Focuses our bass tone. Then the insufferable mid-range filter is a very, very sharp cut at 3.8. Really focuses our high end instead of having it peak at one annoying frequency. And then this is that magic sauce right there. It is a magic sauce button. If you can ignore the volume change that I tried to compensate with here, it fattens it up. It just saturates it in a really nice way. So this is the main processing, all on this plugin right here. No compression, because I limit the hell out of the bass after. You can hear I also make it quieter, but this doesn't really matter. This is like a volume, just if I was using this one down here. I prefer to do it on the plugin so I can stay at 0, because I'm OCD like that. And yep, limiting. So if the bass is too loud, turn it down. And if the bass is too quiet, turn it up. This is going to give you a brick of bass. That's what MV2 does. You lose a little bit of low end, but at least it becomes very consistent all the time. And then there's a new track. The clean bass. It's literally all of the same, but I turned off the distortion on Gin Bass. So I probably could have just automated this and kept it all on the same track, but I am so lazy to go open automation menus that I just create it, duplicate it, and turn it off. That's all it is. Okay. Tone. So this is the Stone Crusher, and these strings are very, very dead. You can hear a lot of annoying mid-range, and it's lacking low end and high end. That's what we got. I know the amp used for the album was an amp sim of a Herbert, so I am using the Diesel Herbert on Tone Hub, the Diesel Herbert pack, and I always pick the high gain channel 3 with a boost, but I've been using 3 for these covers, which has a boogie cab. So today I decided to use 14, which is the same thing but on a diesel cabinet. You can hear the difference. A little bit of a different mid-range to mix stuff up. So these are the moves. This is our dynamic palm mute control, which is more used for these scratches here. You can see when I scratch, a lot of low end builds up. So I tell the EQ to duck it just when there's too much low end, which helps. This is to cut sub. I've tried to do this instead of doing it like this, which can be very aggressive. Just a little, what do you call this? Node bell. A little bell at 70 Hertz. A little mid-range boost. This is the guitar's real mid-range presence. There's a little high-end boost at 6.5. And the cut here is at 3.3, 3.4 is where this diesel cabinet has a little bit of a nasty thing. You can hear it become more balanced with the EQ. Then I'm saturating the guitar tone. So I'm just using warm tape mode on Saturn. I'm saturating everything a little 15%, and the mid-range I'm going to 40%. Again, just another way to try to get a little bit more mid-range into the tone. Oh. You can hear the guitar tone become just a little bit more exciting with this saturation on top. And then soothe, but very light, because the guitar didn't have a lot of spikiness after I took care of this main one. So I just put it very lightly as a almost superstitious. Very little stuff. Let's move on to these leads. So if on rhythm I'm using the diesel cab, on the leads I will be using the boogie cab to contrast a little bit. Making it softer with the EQ. Subs are just rumble because I'm only playing high notes. High end above 8K is very distracting and unnecessary. And the spikiness is here at 3K, and at 3.8K a bigger notch. After that, there's a little bit of compression just to take care of this part, which is a little bit more dynamic because it has palm mutes. This way they're all the same volume. And then this is being sent into a reverb. The reason I'm not putting it on the track is because the track is panned left, and this would make the reverb be panned left. So if I send it to another track, oops, no. If I send it to a reverb track, that reverb is nice and well spaced, well centered. It's just my usual low plate, but since it's on a send, this is 100% wet, and then the volume mix is how you mix it in, not like this. 5.2 seconds, and cut a little bit of low end, and cut a little bit more low end here. Not a lot. Mix them. It's cool because the guitar is left, but the reverb is well spaced. So that is the trick here. Same with this one. So that's going to the same reverb. And the tone is the same, but with a little bit less gain because it's a tapping part. The EQ is a little bit tighter because I don't want a lot of high end because this appears alone in the mix. And this is very aggressive. And I turned on the delay pedal on Tone Hub. I can hear it too. Very cool. Also high pass and low pass filters on your delay. Important so that the repeats don't get very busy. And this one, yeah, it gets soothed. Again, since it appears alone, it really had to be a little bit smoother than what came out straight out of the amp. Reverb. Oh yeah. We'll get to the cleans. This guy is just the laziest thing. I can't believe I didn't EQ this. This could use some EQ, but I guess I finished the mix and didn't even do it. Our lead sound for this cover, which is the boogie cab on the Herbert, into low played at an 85% mix, 4 seconds. There you go. A little bit of a wet lead just to spice this part up. Literally 2 plugins. Let's EQ it actually. Probably would have done something like this. Keeps it a little bit more away than this. Yeah, this removes some busyness in the low end. Yeah. There you go, just watch me EQ it real time. Cleans. This is the split middle position on the Stone Crusher, and the tone is the Herbert pack, again, on clean. So by using the same pack, we get to use the same cabinet. So the clean tone and the distorted tone have some similarity in terms of EQ curve. The patch comes with effects on, which is cool. So 21% mix delay, very short delay, not really time delay, just short. And 36% played reverb, very standard. Okay, so our usual filters, getting rid of some sub and some top end. Then there's a low end control. There's no palm muting here that's going to trigger this, but there are some boomy low notes in the higher strings, lower strings. these ones here. This can control that low end. And there's a little bit of a mid cut. So if you guys have seen me use this trick, this is to make the guitar wider by cutting a little bit of the middle information and letting the sides be a little bit louder. By cutting that low end from the mid, I get a little bit of, well, let's turn it on and off. When I turn it on, you can hopefully hear it's a little bit less congested in the middle of your headphones or speakers. Very light compression. Clean parts are usually benefit from this. Very light. I've made the mistake of choking it out by doing this. Also sounds cool, but it's not what I'm looking for. Soothe on cleans. So instead of it cutting very harshly like on sustained rhythm guitar, where it's more reacting to cabinet resonances than anything else, Soothe cuts pick attack annoyances on a clean guitar. Very cool, makes it soft. Nice, that's all it is. My explosion is not the usual impact, it's like this futuristic one that I sometimes use. Fits this mix a little bit better, and ERRA is very futuristic, and this sounds like space explosion. Made it a little bit softer. Just cut some of the nonsense. I'm really looking for the low end. And yep, it really helps, especially in parts like this. Love that riff. And okay, mastering is very simple. I've been trying to do a less is more and just use 2 to 3 to 4 plugins. So at this point, you guys might know why I like Gullfoss. There's usually just a little bit of it on my master bus. It's like, instead of going in with an EQ and manually EQing your master bus, Gullfoss is like a cheat for that. Because instead of you making a static EQ, this is like an EQ for your master bus that keeps moving as it plays. So you can see the low end react to the kick, the high end boost react to the cymbals. It's very, very helpful, and I like it very much. Use it lightly. Bus compression is the other very important part. I've been liking, so the reason I choose Townhouse again is because this isn't a very, very busy ERRA song. The busier it gets is something like this. Still plenty of breathing space, and Townhouse adds a little bit of color that can get busy on busier songs, but this song has space, so I use it here. And I've been liking going from 2 to a heavier ratio, so more compression, but a faster attack. What this does is that it puts more emphasis on whatever comes above the threshold, and that's usually going to be my snare and kick, and that's what I want to be compressed the most. Instead of it being 2 ratio and slower attack, which would make the whole mix pump a little bit more, I want my whole mix to be a static big block and have it react to a snare and kick. So you can see it's like half a dB when nothing's hitting. When the kick's hitting, it's about 1, and the snare's hitting it at about 2. Looks cool, adds a lot of energy. Please don't crash on me. Okay. Oh my god. Not the effects chain. Save. That was scary. I hope the video's still going. Yeah, before and after. The way I describe it is just everything rises to the same energy level as the drums, and the drums keep everything in check. Very, very important sound. And then just make it loud. My loudener of choice is Ozone, and yep, you can see how much I'm chopping off right here. You can see we mostly cut the kick and snare, which is the main point of this. Those poke out very loudly, and if we get to cut them, everything gets to become a little bit louder. And dig into the guitar level a little bit, and that's where you can start to have distortion problems. But if you do it just a little bit, you get just that extra bit of loudness. So that is it, guys. That's the mixing tutorial for this song. Hope you like it. I hope I do another ERRA one. I think I'm gonna do it, but I have some other covers prepared before. Thank you for your support. Leave any questions down below. See you in the next one. Take care. Thank you.